Hey everybody, Steve here. How's everybody doing today? Just got off the lake. Had to come in a little early. Got a little windy on me out there. For those of you who don't know, I don't really have a big boat. I got a dinghy. Um, it's a 11 foot dinghy, and I use my trolling motor to get around. I'm not one of those guys that have to get to a fishing spot in 5.2 seconds, and I don't ski. Um, so I like to get back up in the sloughs and back up in there. So it's perfect for me. Um, do a little catfishing back there. So anyway, let's get it off. Let's hit it off here with the OIG, it's Office of Inspector General, Attorney General, ignoring basically Angelina County over the last, I will say, 6 months. And for me personally, it's been about a year. But for individuals who are currently going through requesting the Freedom of Information Act or information on certain subjects or whatever from our county attorney, Terry Kirby, um, it's always here's the keywords. It's broad. It's broad in scope. You need to be more detailed. All of these things. Well, I don't understand why he wants more detail because it says I want all the records pertaining to this day and this. Well, that's too broad. You know. Okay, so what he does then is he sends it off to the Attorney General's office for an opinion. Now, the Attorney General offers an opinion. He offers his opinion according to the law. Doesn't comment on specifics of the individual or the actual crime committed or whatever. Just goes by the law and is basically up to the county court's decision to whether it's being released or not. Now, he sends these up to the office, Attorney General's office, and they rubber stamp them. He quotes cases and files he quotes cases that are outdated. He quotes cases that they've made decisions on in the past. They're not relevant to the information that we're actually requesting right now. So the Attorney General just says rubber stamp it. Okay, county attorneys they're smarter, more educated than the person who's actually requesting it. So he knows better than they do, and they just rubber stamp it, and you can appeal. However, the fact is that it won't go nowhere. The Office of Inspector General, same thing. If you actually report corruption and you actually quote cases, you provide documentation showing this corruption, they will report to a commission or report to it's a commission of judges, and they make a decision on whether to investigate or not. Now, all of these Freedom of Information requests and all these requests from the OIG are complaints that need to be addressed. In other words, the public is asking, look, we cannot get our local government to follow the law. Can you get us to the right individuals we can report this to, who will actually pay attention to the complaint, do a little research, and maybe investigate it a little bit? No, that doesn't happen. So in essence, Attorney General and OIG is worthless when coming to your information request or for your information that you provide to the OIG, proving that this is going on. It's rubber stamped, and it's just okay. We saw it, we looked at it, throw it away, because that would require us to do some extra work. So the Attorney General and Office of OIG and the Attorney General's Office of Inspector General, they're no good. They don't represent you. They're no good. There's no help. There's no guidance. There's nothing. Matter of fact, they think that it's beneath them to actually review a Freedom of Information request. OIG thinks it's beneath them to actually have to investigate something, And this is where corruption thrives, not only in Southeast Texas, but in the state of Texas. We have an attorney general who's fighting impeachment, whose efforts are going toward him staying in office and suing other people. And then he's got staff who are reviewing this. So, in other words, it doesn't get in front of the attorney general; it gets in front of his staff. And some people have a good day, bad day, whatever. And I don't want to work. They should rubber stamp what's going. So, there's no investigations that are being done. Now, I'm going to put out a few videos because I have multiple issues to address with the people of Angelina County. Today, Mr. Delcifino put out a video. I posted it on my page, both pages, and it's worth to watch because it's called The Crumbling of Castles. And now we have Kerry Kirby, who's a key player in denying freedom of information request, who's not going to run for office again. We have Janet Castles, who's not going to run for office again. And then we have Terry Pitts, who's not going to run again. All these individuals have been involved in making it difficult to gain information, reporting wrong information, and actually abusing their office in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Now, people say, well, good, we're getting rid of them. We're getting rid of the bad apples. And yes, we are. However, as noted in the commissioner's report, a commissioner's meeting, I should say, it's going to take us 10 to 15 years to unscrew our roads, which have been neglected, and also our infrastructure. This is why when we passed the law, I'm having a brain fart here, the unit road system, we passed that. We put in there specifically, we need to have an engineer. We need to have somebody with a background, not only of just patching roads, but we need to have a plan to where we can get back and we can actually repair all the damage that has been done. Now, this takes an engineer. This takes an engineer because the fact is there's a lot of factors involved. We have an individual who's an administrator now, whose only benefit is that he worked on the road for 15 years. Well, 15 years ago it started. 15 years ago we started when having problems with the roads with the same people involved. Wouldn't it be beneficial to get somebody new to come in and look, especially whenever it says so by law? So I question this. Any road repairs, any denial of road repairs, and also the actual schedule of how they have it set up, which roads will be done first, it comes into question because it's not done by an engineer. It's done by an administrator. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. An engineer would know if you change this particular road or material on this road, that it's potentially going to do damage down here. So how do we correct? So how can we correct the problem without creating another problem? An engineer would know that. They're trained. They know how to do this. They know how to irrigate properly. They know how to deal with the runoff. They know how to deal with the type of soil we have, and they will be able to make an educated decision based on their knowledge and based on their experience. But we don't have that. We have an administrator who serves at the will of the commissioner's office. That's why he's put there. That's why Mr. Walker was denied the ability to do his job. Whenever he started finding out that, hey, something ain't right, he's the one who caught Terry Pitts and the corruption and the money that just disappeared. We don't know where that money went, but anyway, it didn't go for the roads. His misreporting of how many, all that, you guys know about that. But the fact of the matter is that he was the one who was discovering why we're having these issues with our roads. any job that you take, when you come in new, you do an audit of how things were done in the past, what things were bullshit, what things need to be addressed, and how you fix the problem. Because there's obviously a problem. Angelina County residents have been screaming about roads for 15 years, 20 years. And it's gotten to the point that one lady I saw on video, she says, you run off in one of these holes, you may have to have a crane gig you out. Sometimes you get a tow truck, they can't even get you towed out. So everybody is concentrating on the road issue, and they should. But there are other issues involved in this corruption that we're not paying attention to. And I don't want to be the person who said this is bad news. However, we're noticing that corruption is not just regulated to one office. It's across the board. And I'll give you an example. I used this before. I made a video on this before, but I'm going to use it again because it's still continuing to happen. And we cannot get anybody to pay attention or to actually research or ask or investigate this type of behavior. What I'm about to describe to you is cruel and unusual punishment. What I'm about to describe to you is happening, and we have questions. I have questions that are gone unanswered. Preston Lee Hayes has been in jail in solitary confinement for 829 days. A complaint was issued to jail standards, and they contacted Mr. Selman, and Mr. Selman, quote blank, said this. He said, well, he is responsible for heinous crimes. Okay, let's look at that. Heinous crimes. Heinous crimes defined as injury to 3 or more people. Serious bodily injury to 3 or more people. It is a first degree felony. If you harm 3 people in a heinous act, that's first degree felony. However, this individual is charged with a 3rd degree felony. And let's not forget, he hasn't even been to trial yet. So he hasn't even been to trial. He hasn't been convicted, but you got him in solitary confinement for all this time. And why? Because he goes before a judge on his trial date, and the trial date, the judge actually admitted he cannot mentally go to trial. He's mentally incapable of standing trial. He doesn't know where he's at. He doesn't know what's happening to him. He has no idea what's going on, and he's mentally incapable. So what does Angelina County do? Well, they send him back not only to jail, but they also send him back to solitary confinement. A mentally ill person. Now we know he's mentally ill. Needs help. He needs psychological help. Whether it be drug induced, whatever, the guy is not all there. He needs to have some kind of psychological help. He needs medication. He needs to be reviewed by a doctor. He needs to be checked on regularly. He needs this type of psychiatric care. And this psychiatric care cannot be denied by an entity, say, for example, the county jail. At this point in time, the county jail will not even authorize anybody from the Burke Center, from any psychological profile to be done on this individual. They won't even let him in the door to talk to him. And they have not requested them to do so. So now, this individual, they say that he is incapable of surviving in general population. What that means is that he has a mind of a 10-year-old, and they're worried about his safety because he can't protect himself. So you put him in solitary confinement for 800 something days, and that's supposed to be good for his health when he already has mental problems. He doesn't have any representation. There is no court-appointed attorney, because the fact is this court-appointed attorney represented him in court. Judge says he's mentally incapable of standing trial. That's that tells the lawyer that, well, we can't go to trial, so I don't my services here are no longer needed. So he doesn't have anybody representing him in jail. He has no idea what's going on to him. He asks every day, when can I go home? When can I go home? When can I go home? He didn't have a TV set for a long period of time, and come to find out, because the fact is they said he keeps destroying them. Well, I don't know about you, but after 800 something days in jail, you know what? I would be a little pissed off too. But that doesn't that doesn't condone him taking these actions. But here's what it is that the TV, whenever he turned the TV off, the TV was talking to him in voices. Mentally ill, I think so. This is why he destroyed the TV, because the fact is that it was talking to him, and we don't know what it was saying to him. We don't know what these voices were saying or whatever, but we do know that this is the reason why, because he kept telling him, it's talking to me. And they're like, well, I got it. He said, no, I have it off. It's off. It's off. Not to mention is he's in a lighted cell for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and he doesn't get regular exercise. So he's confined to this cell. Now, per law, after 30 days of being in solitary confinement, you're supposed to get a break. You're supposed to get out for a couple of 3 days to get exercise, get fresh air, to get maybe socialized, or whatever the case may be. And you can put him back in solitary confinement after 3-4 days. And then you can actually observe him while he's in with general population if he is doing well in general population. But just to arbitrarily say, you know what, you don't belong in there. We're going to make a decision for you that you're mentally ill. We're incapable of housing you correctly. So we're just going to put you in solitary confinement, hope people forget about you. And we just leave you in jail because you don't know no better. This is like being in an asylum without any medication. This is like being in an asylum where you don't get to talk to nobody. It's like being in an asylum where you don't get to mingle around and you lose all your social skills. I can't imagine the damage when this guy comes out. He's already mentally ill, but how much does this solitary confinement contribute to his mental illness, or does it? And how bad did it make it? This individual who is being denied any kind of medical care is not going to get any better. He's going to get worse. And plus, you strap on to a sheriff, and the jail staff can say, "Well, he can't be in general population. At some point, we can't properly house him. We can't provide him with his basic needs. We can't provide him with psychological care. We can't. We need to actually call in an expert to come in, do an evaluation, and see how this individual can be helped." That's not done. Plus, he's charged with heinous crimes. If these heinous crimes were committed, were they committed because he was mentally ill? Hey, maybe that's it. But he's been charged with these crimes, and he's been to the judge. And he said he's mentally incapable. He's mentally incapable to stand trial. At that point in time, a psychologist should have been ordered, or a psychiatrist should have been ordered to do an evaluation on him and actually help in him recovering or going to a place where he can recover, or people can't hurt him. So where's the safety? Angelina County is supposed to provide for the safety of inmates. Obviously, this is not done in Angelina County Jail. We have an individual who died. Yes, he died in Angelina County Jail. All the information provided by the sheriff contradicts itself, and yet Kerry Kirby will not allow the video to show how this individual died, especially because here's the main kid. He was actually unresponsible and dead per the coroner at 11:36, but his booking information just said till 12:28. That's an hour later. Cooking the books, man. Cooking the books. In addition, we have in our commissioners court meeting, if you guys saw this or whatever, Jill Brewer gets up and says, and she's questioned, well, what happened to $4 million? I don't know. I don't know what happened to $4 million. Now, this happened before a couple of years ago. She lost $3 million, and then she found it the next month, and she said, well, I made a mistake. And anybody who's not made a mistake, I'll meet them out in the parking lot. I went out the parking lot. I asked Baby before. You never showed. But anyway, I went out the parking lot. I want to ask her some questions because I have made mistakes on my checkbook, on my accounting. Maybe I didn't pay a bill or whatever. That's on me. But if I make a mistake with your money, you're going to be pissed. And after you have a couple of $1 million, pretty soon that starts adding up to real money. So that was all well and good. We let that fly, we let that slide, because the fact is that, you know what, hey, well, everybody makes mistakes or whatever. $3 million worth of mistakes. We let that slide. Now she can't tell you where $4 million went, because the balance sheet had 16 million. Now we're down to 12 million. And her answer for that, I don't know. I'll have to keep working on that. It's $4 million. $4 million that we could have used for the jail extension. $4 million that we didn't have to take out a loan paying much interest rate, higher interest rates now. I don't see interest rates going down, do you? That's $4 million. Could have been used for our roads, could have been used somewhere, could have been used to correct some of the problems that we have, but we can't find it. I've never seen the commissioners really act appalled. Usually commissioners meeting, things go by, oh, yeah, okay, aye. Nobody objects. Nobody asks any questions. Nobody just get it over with. Aye. But on this issue, they're pissed. They're like, what happened to money? This is, our software, we just plug it in. Maybe you should have spent $4 million on software that would actually compute the actual numbers that you put in, so we could actually balance the damn budget. Because the only thing that I can point to is the fact is that who's inputting the numbers, who's cooking the books, man, who's robbing Peter to pay Paul. So that's another issue. But in closing, I've got other issues that I'm going to go over. As a matter of fact, we'll start making a series of things that I have found out. Most of you guys know I disappear for 2-3 weeks or whatever. I find out information. I do research information. I just don't go down local boots and I don't just go down to boots and I look at issues that are actually happening and want to know why. And I can't come up with the reason except for the fact is that we're getting played. And we are in probably one of the most. There was a quote in The Big Short. It was a financial movie. Anyway, there was a quote, and that was a quote that says, how can this happen? Everything wasn't making sense. The numbers weren't making sense. Nothing was making sense. And Michael Berry finally came out and said, it's possible that we're in the biggest corrupt system that we've ever faced. This explains why we can't balance the budget. This explains why we got money going in and out. We don't even know where it's going. We have a motion to pay bills. I don't know what the bills are. They probably even never looked at the agenda. So it's about time. I mean, we started asking questions. And we started to identify people who are actually part of the problem, not part of the solution. We have Janet leaving. This is going to speed up our trial system. Hopefully. We have Pitts that is leaving, which will ensure that we pave the amount of roads that we say we paved. And then we have Kerry Kirby. Thank God he's not running. He has been nothing but a pain in the ass since he's got there. And I don't know if it's a power trip. I don't know what he's on or whatever, but he has got to go. Kerry Kirby was the one who advised Mr. Limberly, Judge Limberly, he didn't need an attorney. He was the one who advised, that they're going to drop charges. He was the one who advised all this, advised Limberly. Limberly's no fault of his. It goes to the county attorney when all these, was, they're just misdemeanors. They're not going to go anywhere, whatever. Anyway, based on Kerry Kirby's assumption, Limberly got charged violation of the Freedom of Information Act. And if there was one person in the Freedom of Information Act that got busted for that, Mr. Limberly, even if it was true, why do we knock the rest of them? Our county commissioners, we already had one 4 years ago, beat his wife, got drunk, beat his wife. Yeah, then he got caught misusing funds. Never stood trial on that. And this individual is going to come out and probably run for office again. So this is the update that I have so far. My main focus is on Mr. Hayes because the fact is that is definitely cruel and unusual punishment. And any organization that you report this to, any organization who condones this is a part of the problem. The jail complaint system is a joke. My next video will actually address the serial issue that you have inside the county jail. Plus, also, guards sneaking shit in. We don't even know what it is. They say tobacco. Come on, man. Ain't no smoking in there. So it's like, what? Tobacco is not the biggest thing that they're actually bringing in. So there's a lot that is going on here. And my question is I understand the frustration that citizens of Angelina County go through just to get information, just to have somebody hear them and their complaints and the truth that they actually have witnessed and actually seen. It's very hard to continue to do so whenever you're not heard by anybody. And second of all, if you are heard by somebody, then the first thing they do instead they look for the corruption, they look at it. How's it going to affect me? How's it going to affect me and my family? How's it going to affect me? Is it better for me just to sit down, shut up, and take it? We miss out on the whole We miss out on the whole aspect of being citizens of the United States of America and great state of Texas. And the fact is, that's our job. We are supposed to ask questions. We're supposed to demand answers. We are supposed to, those who will not provide those answers, get them out of office. The Attorney General needs to go. Just by his office and the way that they actually treat freedom of information requests and the opinions that they serve. Office of Inspector General, they need to clean house. They're not doing their job. They are not protecting the people of the state of Texas or anybody they represent. And so is our Attorney General. We have a definite issue with the Department of Public Safety. We've already caught them. And the Texas Rangers, we've already caught them coinciding or collaborating with district attorneys and things of this nature or whatever. Those that are out there scoping are actually illegal. And what does the DPS do? They don't remove them. They just transfer them. This goes under the statute of the Gypsy Cop, which has been addressed in our latest legislature. A list came out. I posted the list. A list came out of individuals who their licenses were revoked. They can't practice law anywhere in the state of Texas, but still allows to happen. And if somebody says something or complains to somebody else that's supposed to do something about it, nah, I don't care. Don't affect them. They don't care. So, Angelina County residents, we are part of the problem, but also the problem is bigger because the fact is that there are individuals who are assigned and their job to listen to our complaints and actually take us seriously when we're actually providing facts to them, and they refuse to do so. That is a problem, and that is corruption within itself. Shit rolls downhill. So we have an issue with not only our justice system in Angelina County, and also the corruption we have in Angelina County. This goes all the way up to the Attorney General's office and all the way to the Office of Inspector General's office. And the Jail Procedures Office, SBJ, anyway. And then you can complain to them, and they actually, it's a Texas organization. I'll try to leave the link in. But anyway, it's a Texas organization where you file your complaints about a jail. All they did was call. Even though in the last 3 years we've been found non-compliant on issues. Latest issue was unaccountable drug suspension, not logging down like drugs being. Do you see where I'm going with that? You get a prescription from your doctor and you're in jail, and when you get out of jail, guess what? There's a period of 30 to 90 days. You still get that prescription delivered to the jail. Guess what? Who does those prescriptions go to? And so it's being used as a racket inside of the jail. And it's being used by the guards of that jail for monetary status or power inside the county jail. So all these things I'm not making up. The Seroquel issue, I know for a fact because I was in there part of it. I mean, I wasn't a part of it, no, but I saw it handling firsthand to firsthand, and I knew that was going on, so I stayed the hell away from it. Didn't want to be caught up. And then people ask me, don't bring that shit around me, man. It's not worth the hassle. It's not worth it. But it still goes on. So this video I'm putting out, shares your discretion. But I wanted to put this out because the fact is I know that there are other individuals outside of my county that are having the same issues, that are having the same problem, and they're posting their issues, which I appreciate because the fact is I learned what procedures they took or what steps they're taking to actually whittle down or expose the corruption that they have in Texas. So I appreciate you guys that actually post on my page, Angelina County Today or Steve Do Both. I do. I read that. I like to like and share those ones. If I miss liking and sharing somebody, I apologize. But the fact is that I utilize that information, and it helps me proceed when all the doors slam shut and everybody don't want to talk to everybody, whatever, and everything. All the information is hidden. Other people in other counties, they have ways around that, and they give me advice or they give me ideas to think of and initiate here as well. That's all it comes to, bro. That's all it comes to. Anyway, be good. Keep your powder dry, man. And if you're fighting the system or you're trying to get information or whatever, I pray for you because trust me, there's no end to the lengths that they'll go to hide their corruption. And you have to go into it and you have to find out, follow the money, first of all. And that will lead you to bigger and bigger things, as I'm finding out. Thank you guys. Have a great day, a great evening. supposed to be, the wind's supposed to lay down tomorrow, so I'm probably going to head out to the lake tomorrow. So see if I catch anything and not just fight the wind. You guys be good. Be careful. I'm out.